Good afternoon, guys. So today, for our foundation topic lesson, so this is my first time, so I'm getting used to it. For our foundation lesson today, we're going to be doing PSHE. Because it's Christmas, we're coming to the end of the year, so we're going to kind of now come up with some kind of goals and targets that we can set ourselves for the rest of the academic year starting in January. So that's what we're going to do today. So I recommend before you begin, I have a whiteboard and a pen. If you do not have these at home, please can you get some pen and paper? Okay, so I'm going to kind of pause the video if you need to and don't get any of the bits that you need. So you need a pen, paper, or maybe a pencil. Okay, now that you've got all of your stuff, I'm going to share my screen and we're going to go through this together. What I recommend you do, what's going to happen is as the video plays, I will kind of say to you to pause and then kind of wait a few seconds. That'll be an indicator that you can pause. If at any point you get stuck or you don't really know what to do, feel free to rewind it and then watch a little bit again. It should be embedded in my blog. So I'm going to try and open up my PowerPoint so you can see exactly what I'm seeing, and it'll be a lot easier for you guys. Okay, so hopefully you guys are seeing the same thing that I'm seeing, and it says that your learning intention is to know my learning strengths and create goals for the rest of the year. Okay, so this is going to be our last lesson of autumn 2. So I've got a starter here. It says what I am good at. Try to think of as many things as you can that you are good at. So what I'm going to suggest is I want you to pause the video and then I want you to spend 30 seconds trying to come up with as many different things as you can that you feel you are good at. It can be anything in school. It can be activities you do outside of school. It can be anything you like, just something that you think you are good at. Okay, so I'm going to ask you to pause and then give you the time. Go. Okay, so now you've come back and you've had the list. Sometimes it can be quite difficult to come up with our kind of strength, things that we feel that we're really good at. Even myself, when I was doing it, I know I could think of that I was quite good at playing games and I'm quite good at being resourceful and determined, but I know that there's lots of other things that I just couldn't come up with on the spot. So I want you to think, was it easy or hard for you to create ideas, and why did you find that way? So just kind of thinking that in your head. And if it helps you to pause the video so you can kind of explain, and then maybe write down a sentence. So I wrote, I found it easy to come up with ideas, or I find it difficult to come up with ideas because. Okay, so what is a strength? So a strength is something that you are good at, or a character trait that will help you succeed. For example, being determined is a strength because it shows that you never give up. And as you should see, what we did before, what you're good at, these are going to be some of your strengths. They may be personal strengths, they may be learning strengths, but they're strengths that you have. So what we're going to try and do today is to come up with some strength and kind of try and apply them into the future. So I've got here, what strength do you have? Why do you think this has always been the case? So again, like before, I want you to get your pen and paper. I want you to kind of slow down, pause the video, and think about what strengths do you have. Again, much like the start of what you're good at, it can be personal strengths, i.e., that you're a good friend, or that you're very kind, or that you're determined, or it could be a very literal strength. That you're very good at doing sporting activities, or you are physically strong yourself. A really important question I like to ask you, has this always been the case? What I mean by that is, was there an area where you weren't very strong before and now you are strong? And by that, I don't mean literally, I mean as in, again, your character trait. For example, I feel I'm a very determined person, but when I think back to how I was when I was younger, I don't believe I was determined as I am now. So again, I would like you to pause the video, have a think, and off you go. Okay, so I'm hoping that you pause the video. So how does your strength make you feel? Okay, and how might that strength help you achieve a dream or a goal? So, what I mean by this is, for example, because I believe I'm a very determined person, I know that if I set myself a dream or a goal or a target, that that determination is going to help me achieve that goal if I can achieve that goal, because I know I'm someone who's not going to give up. So I want you to think about what strengths you have and how they're going to help you achieve. So what I'd like to do is I'd like you to take your paper or some pen, and then I would like you to write down a sentence. So like in class, we normally discuss, don't we? And you talk to the person next to you or someone on your table to answer these questions. We're going to write those down, just because I feel like if you write them down, it's going to be able to help you kind of refer back to it and explain your thoughts and feelings. So again, I'm going to ask you to pause and to answer the questions. Okay, so I'm going to give you a little bit of time. Okay, so I've got here, how does the strength make you feel? So in relation to myself, my strength of being determined, it's something that I feel proud about, because I know I haven't always been determined, and I know that sometimes being determined can be quite a difficult experience. And being able to carry on with that determination is just something I feel really good about myself with. The reason why I feel like it will help me achieve my goal is because it makes me just never want to give up. So even when I just feel like I can't do something, I'm never going to give up. Like even with this video, it's the first time I've ever done a video like this. I was very nervous coming home when I was on the bus. I've just not long left school today on Monday, and I was feeling a bit nervous, but I was like, no, I'm going to go home. I'm going to do the best I can. I'm going to try and help the children by just being a really determined person. So I'd like you to share any of the ideas you have at home with anybody who's able to listen. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next part. So it says here, realistic goals and dreams. So it says you have several minutes to come up with a realistic goal or dream that you believe you can achieve. By realistic, what I mean by that is, for example, I'm not going to be able to grow wings tomorrow and fly to the moon. I'm probably not going to be a gazillionaire, because I wouldn't even know how to find that number on a place value chart. But I know most certainly that I do have goals or dreams that are achievable for myself. So what I want you to do is pause the video, come up with ideas about what dream you would like, and then answering these questions. How could you make that dream a reality? What could you do personally in your life to help that dream come happen? To come happen doesn't make sense, guys. I apologize. To come true. Why is it important to have a goal or a dream? What is the purpose? Why do we need to think about these things in our own lives? And why is it important to write them down or speak them aloud? What benefit do you feel writing your dream down will have for you? So I'd like you to pause this video for at least 5 minutes. Now, I know that sounds like a lot of time. I just feel it's really important for you to really think about what this goal is going to be. Sometimes I find when we speak to children and amongst ourselves, it can be really difficult. The dream can be as ambitious as you like. It can be as low key as you like. So I know when I was a child, I really wanted to play for Charlton. But I also wanted to be a teacher. Now, I didn't achieve both of those goals, but I did achieve one of them. So I'm going to ask you to pause the video and then have a go at trying to think of some of your own. Okay, so off you go. Okay, so now you're back with me. I'm sorry if that's not a smooth transition. I'm trying to get used to it. So what dreams or goals did you come up with? The one of mine I came up with was to be more positive. Now, I feel I'm quite a positive person, and I'd like to believe that you would agree with that, children. It's always helpful to be more positive. I feel like 2020 has been quite an intense year in lots of different ways for lots of different people. And one of the ways that I'm going to try and make the next year even better is, regardless of what happens, we're going to try and be happy, okay? More positive, okay? How could I make that dream a reality? For me, I need to focus on that dream, write it down, and kind of map out all of the ways that I will be able to achieve it. So I'm going to ask you this question: why is it important to have a goal or a dream? So now I know you can't talk back to me, but one of the reasons why I feel it's important to have a goal or a dream is it lets you know what you want to do. Life is very hard sometimes, and there's so many options. There's millions of opportunities and jobs for you to have. But if you don't have any idea of any that you want to do, it's very difficult to know kind of what you need to do, what skills you need to get, what path you need to take academically, what knowledge you might need to have. I feel like as soon as you know what your dream is, you're able to work towards it or your goal. Whereas if you don't know what it is, you can't move on that road towards it. Even if you're just taking small steps, you need to know what those steps are in order to move forward. The bottom, why is it important to write them down or speak them aloud? Now, I'm sure lots of people are going to have different opinions on this. For me, if I write something down and then talk to someone about it, it's becoming almost a reality. The dream is beginning to exist. It's no longer an idea. It's actually an active goal I'm trying to pursue. So that's why I feel it's important to write them down. And also, I feel like if I write it down, I really believe I can do it because I've taken the action of, or taken the action even, I apologize, of writing it down. So that's very important as well. So, got here, my goal. So I will share a goal I had when I was much younger. So I was thinking about what steps did I need to take, why, and how did this help me achieve my goal? So this is a little bit embarrassing. So I've got several different ones that I could do. One of the options, one of the goals I had, so when I was much younger, I was very overweight. And I was very unhealthy. And it was something that I was really kind of, it bothered me on both a physical level and an emotional level. And it was something I wanted to change because I knew it wasn't healthy to be as overweight as I was. And it just didn't make me feel very happy, especially when I was at school. And I used to feel embarrassed sometimes when I would do PE. I didn't want to feel that way anymore. And I knew the only way I was going to not feel like that was to lose weight. So what I want you to do is I want you to pause the video and I want you to think out what steps did I need to take? Why did I need to take those steps? And then how did taking those steps actually help me achieve that goal? From being someone who was very overweight to being someone who wasn't very overweight in a kind of 6 month to 1 year period, what steps do I need to take? So again, I'm going to ask you to pause the video and go from there. Okay, off you go. Pause in the video, please. Okay, so you've paused the video, you've had a pause. So what steps do I need to take? So the first step I needed to take was I needed to create my goal. I wrote down my goal, I told my dad, and I said, this is what I'm going to do, this is my aim. What I then needed to do is I then needed to look into what I could do to help the situation. So kind of what exercises I could do, what foods I should be eating instead of eating. So I kind of got a rough idea of what was required of me to achieve my goal, and then had to kind of work on that goal. For me, it was a daily basis, but not necessarily every ambition that you're going to have is going to be a daily basis. So come up with an idea, look at it every day, then kind of to talk to people about it, keep them informed. I've found that if I spoke to someone, for me it was my dad and my friends, if I told them I'd lost this much weight, or I learned this new recipe, or I found this new tasty food, just by engaging in that conversation, everything became much more of a reality, basically. It was a small process. I feel like I would never have achieved that goal if I hadn't managed to do all of the kind of mini baby steps that got me that far. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the next part. So what's going to happen is I'm going to ignore this screen now, because actually it's not really what's going to happen. So, okay, so you can see my face again. So we've gone through the slides. We've thought about what things you're good at. We've looked at what goals you may have. We've looked at how you're going to achieve those goals. I discussed a life goal of mine that I've achieved that took a lot of hard work. I explained to you how I've done that. And in that process, you've also thought about all of the things that you've been doing. Your task today is to come up with 2 goals. So Goal number one, you need to write down something you would like to do, a goal or a dream outside of school. It can be as small as scoring a goal in the playground or for a football team. It can be learning to ride a bike. It can be becoming a professional singer and a huge celebrity. The spectrum can be here. It can be here. It can be really wide. So I want you to write down one goal I have outside of school is, then you will explain in detail what it is and why you want that goal. Okay. Your second goal, number two, doing the peace sign. Your second goal is one that's inside of school. This is just focused on your learning or your behavior. Some of you might have barriers to your learning. Some of you might be behavior. So it might be, I'm going to talk less. I'm going to work on my handwriting. I'm going to do my homework. I'm going to get all of my equipment ready when the teacher asks me to have all my equipment ready. I'm going to try and get to the orange piece in maths. I want you to choose it. So again, you're going to write a sentence on Purple Mash saying, one goal I want to achieve inside school is, you will explain in detail what that is, and then you explain to me how you're going to do that or why. So I want to get better at doing my times tables, because I know that if I improve my times tables knowledge, it will help me with division, which will help me with other areas of my learning, such as finding multiples, factors, and then my mind's gone blank. And then just doing a whole lot of other stuff. So try and explain that side. What's going to happen is I'm going to pause the video or end the video, and then I'm going to share with you a document on Purple Mash. There's going to be a template where basically I'm going to pick some questions, and I would like you to answer those questions. I would like you to answer those questions in full sentences with capital letters and full stops. So for example, if the question says, what is something you're good at? You won't just write running, Minecraft, Nintendo. You'll say, some things I'm good at are, and then tell me what you're going to do at, what you're good at. And then you might say, rather than saying, so example, the question said, what goal do you have? You're not just going to say, my goal is to be famous. You might say, one goal I have is to be a famous actress or actor, because I really love performing in front of audiences. And I would love to do that as a job, because it would be an amazing experience to get paid doing something like that. So try to be really detailed. During year 6, really good ideas. Like with all our PSHE lessons, there's no correct answer. I don't want you to ever feel when you're doing it that this answer is not good enough, or I have to do this particular one. Just be mindful that, of course, try to use appropriate language, but you have kind of free reign on this. I'm really interested in what you have to say, but please say it in a full and detailed fashion. Yeah, so I'm looking for kind of longer sentences, capital letters, full stops. Try to have fun with it. So if you have any questions, please feel free. You can comment on the blog and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. So this is our PSHE lesson for today. And then I hope that you enjoy fiddling in the template. Okay, I'm going to end the video now. Off you go.